Have you ever wanted to peel back the mind of someone who isn't just modding Skyrim, but reimagining it 14 years after release? Alaxouche did exactly that. He built Wunduniik, not just as a mod list, but as a world that reignites Skyrim's sense of wonder, long after most moved on. He didn't set out to fix Skyrim, he set out to recapture that first feeling of discovery, and bring it to modern players with new systems, new visuals, and a world that never stops surprising you. This isn't about features or patch notes. We already did that. This one's about obsession, vision, and the quiet force behind the world you've been exploring without ever knowing his name. So I sat down with him, Alaxouche, the French architect behind Wunduniik, in one of the first interviews ever with a Skyrim modlist creator, a rare look inside the mind of someone reshaping a game millions thought they already knew. What he shared changed how I see modding entirely. If you ever wondered why people build entire worlds they'll never live in, this is your answer. This is the voice behind Wunduniik, and this is where it all begins. Okay. Well, what can I call you, by the way? Like Alex, or?
You can call me Alex. You can call me Alaxouche.
Okay.
It's whatever you want. Honestly, I don't really care.
Awesome.
It's the same.
Just for clarity purposes. You can call me whatever you want. Dipshit that made a tier list video. I've been called worse lately. For our first question, what was your original vision for Wunduniik?
Basically, I wanted to make a visual focused list because you can see a lot of mod lists gameplay focused on Wabbajack mostly,
Right.
but none of them was visually how to say my terrible English. So I think you can notice it.
Yes.
And yeah, that's made the point.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured from looking at it and from playing it myself. And yeah, there are a lot of like super heavy gameplay focused Wabbajack lists for sure. I felt like it, you did feel a really nice niche because you want a good visual mod list, but you do still need a little bit of content. But some people, they want to play that mostly vanilla, but it looked good as well. So I think your mod list does an excellent job of filling that spot. Moving on to question 2 here. How did you first get into Skyrim modding?
Well, this is somehow the funny part. This is like a dad and son thing. My father is a modder too. He made mods for Enderroll, which is
I love Enderroll.
From Skyrim engine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got slowly to Skyrim modding because it was a lot more developed,
Right.
And it's a game I really enjoyed the first time in vanilla, so I thought, why not adding mods? So I started like this. A year after, I was making guides and assistance to how people mod corrected the game because I got the thing quite easily. I mean, it helps to have a modder in your house,
Yeah, right.
So, and I think I made my first mod 4 years ago. It was a non-world patch collection, so I made a few mods, and I ended up making a list, but not playing it too much. And I figured, why not using this list? It's not for me, for other people. And so this is how I got the idea to share the list to the public. And I'm quite happy to see that people like it. So if I can't make use of it, at least some people can. And this is what really I like about making this one.
Awesome. Yeah, it is really convenient to be able to download a full mod list. Already all the MCM's done, all the Beth I stuff's done, VRAMer, all that. It's a lot more Xedit, doing your LODs and stuff.
But modding becomes really professionalized,
Yeah.
And when you try to get to modding in 2025 and you don't know anything about it, it's extremely hard. You have 4 different versions of the game. You have to read mod pages with words or specific terms you can't understand if you're not into really computer science and stuff. So it's not like it used to be. It's not as easy as it used to be, and it can like discourage a lot of people. And modlists are here exactly for this kind of stuff, like for people who don't have time, people who don't have knowledge, or people who just want to experience like a heavy modded game without spending countless hours on it, like on making it.
Yeah, I used to like I got into like the Skyrim scene a fair while ago now. I've been doing like streaming or content creation of some type for a few years, like probably since 2018-ish, around that same time. And yeah, I remember like distinctly trying to mod my own list, and I had like got up to like maybe 400. I didn't know what I was doing, but like I had a little list I liked. Like I was like pretty proud of that, and then like it'd do like your typical like crashing because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't do any like edits or nothing. But
yeah.
And then yeah. So once like Wabbajack came out, and then all that happened, I was like, oh my god, wait, this is awesome. I was like, I don't have to do any of this, and I can just make the content. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, even for us, modding is about like try, fail, and retry.
Yeah.
So, but at the end, you just find out mistakes, and so you don't do them again in the future.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error.
Exactly.
All right, so moving on to the next question. What do you think sets Wunduniik apart from other modlists?
Well, again, as it's the vision for the list, I'd say mostly they are the graphics and exploration part.
Right.
We stand out because I believe that we approach the 2025 standards visuals for games with a really whole engine. And from what I try to do, I think we can achieve it to have decent performance with such a limited engine. So people can have stunning visuals and not necessarily have need of a crazy computer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're like comparing your system requirements from the website you have to like something like, for instance, like Lorem or Novus. Specifically Novus because it uses like V6 because it also uses that like Northern Roads, and I think it also uses Open Cities. But yeah, like the system requirements on that is like you need a like high-end 40 series card, 64 gigabytes of RAM. Like, god damn.
Yeah, I built my list on a 3060 Ti, so I had really low VRAM amount, and I had to make choices on mods.
Right.
Like there was a middle part between stability and visuals. For example, I know that Novus uses SR exterior cities for some profiles, but it costs a lot of performance to have open cities, and I don't feel it's necessary, at least in my mod list.
I would agree, yeah.
It's a great sacrifice for nothing like really that important to me. I don't mind a few loading screens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how gaming is, right? Like, if anything, the loading screens gives you time to do a little stretch for a few seconds, think about what you're doing. Open Cities is a really cool mod, obviously, but yeah, that's only for people that are running on like NASA computers, supercomputers.
Definitely.
All right, so moving on to question 4. What do you think has been the most difficult part of building or maintaining Wunduniik?
Recently it was definitely the stability. We faced heavy instability causing CTDs, visual artifacts and issues. I'm proud to say that today those issues are mostly fixed, so the list is back stable. But when I released V5, which was probably the biggest update, we ran into a lot of issues for users, but issues I couldn't reproduce on my computer.
Right.
So it was extremely hard to troubleshoot, but with the help of other modlist authors, my community helpers, we were able to fix those instabilities caused by like mods incompatibilities, record issue, nav mesh issues, all kind of errors you have to look for. So yeah, I think this is definitely the hardest part, the maintaining the stability of your mod list and trying to have most of the people who face issues, because sometimes you just can't help them, you can't find a solution, because the game itself has glitches and issues. So you modding a game which is already bugged is extremely hard to get stable.
Right. Yeah, when I first downloaded the list to do some, I'd played the previous chapter a little bit, but coming in, I wanted to do, you know, the latest update, going to chapter 5 and see what's been cooking, because I heard it was a pretty big update. So people were leading me over here, wanted me to try it out. Hopped in, saw a couple things, saw the purple nav mesh issues with landscaping, a couple purple people, you know, terrifying, by the way. All I saw was mustache and just purple, and I was like, oh, I don't remember that being in Skyrim. At first I thought it was like some like ethereal mob or something. I was like, oh, that's crazy. And but like, I mean, by the next day you had it fixed, so I was like, it's really impressive. At least next day for me.
This kind of issue is really like the great example. The landscape purple issue and the people purple issue was just about a plugin not being activated at the bottom of the load order.
Right.
And just this caused major visual issues. So I had to recompile everything.
Yeah.
Ensure that it was activated for everyone, and yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, I bet, right? Like one small thing goes wrong.
Itself, but really annoying.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then obviously like, with the CTD stuff, obviously you got to keep working on that just in general, because you know you want to be able to play the list without your game going back to the loading screen all the time, but your desktop rather. But yeah, I mean, so far it's been really stable for me after that small change, just checking off that frame gen. And I'm sure y'all will look into that, see what's actually going on behind there. It's kind of hard to, I'm sure it's hard to like figure out if it's like correlation or causation sometimes, like whether that's actually the cause or like if something else is the cause, but disabling that just kind of fixes the issue between the two or whatever's going on.
Yeah, first I'm glad that it works for you now, but also, yeah, what's hard also is to figure if it's a mod list issue or a user's issue. Sometimes users modify the list or have badly set up computer, and it ends up like causing major issues on the list, such as crashes.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure, if it's a user issue or a mod list issue, and this is hard too, because you can spend a lot of time trying to find the issue, and it's just at the end the user installing a mod that it shouldn't have installed.
Yeah.
Causing all the list to be unstable.
Yeah, trying to turn Wunduniik into their NSFW list. All right. So, I want to ask, do you have a favorite like mod or two in the list, like in Wunduniik?
It's hard to just name a few because I like most of the mod I use. I mean, I've downloaded them if I didn't like them. But I have a name, like a moderator who does stuff that I particularly like. It's Frank Black. So basically it's an author who does like minor visual changes, like diverse candles, fluffy creatures, diverse fences, boards, and all this kind of stuff. It's just minor, visual tweaks, but it adds so much to the immersion because they make more sense. And yeah, I think I use most, if not all, of his work, and I really like. Yeah, it's good quality. It's immersive. It's exactly what I'm looking for in my mod list.
Right. I mean, that's pretty big praise right there. And yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not always the flashy mods that are the most important in my opinion. Like, for instance, like I really appreciate y'all's your use of like audio mods in particular. I think you'll have like over something like around 60 or so audio mods. Like it really like builds up that immersion for me at least. Because a lot of mod lists in particular, they don't like necessarily like look into the sound too much. But like that sound really like sets the atmosphere, and I just love that in particular. Same like concept, like the minor stuff being like super immersion helping.
Yeah, definitely agree.
All right. Now question 6. Are there any design decisions like going forwards or in the past that you're especially proud of or like nervous about?
I think design-wise, um, I have a lot of plans for V6, which will probably be the last main version for, well, not date, I mean, for Wunduniik. And for last big update, I want to go hard, and
Right.
so I will probably introduce seasons, for example. Season in Skyrim, which is a great mod, but also extremely hard to patch and ensure a visual consistency. So
Right.
I know it will take me a lot of time, a lot of space also for all the loads and stuff. But I think it adds so much to the immersion to have like running seasons and like dynamic changes to the world. So yeah, also on my forest mashup, because I really absolutely love nature stuff. So I think you can tell in the list that I go for very lush, wild vibes. And I changed for V5 my way of doing the forest to be independent per region, which means like flora is unique for each region. So it allows to have different trees, different grass, different bushes per region. I think there are 7 or 8 regions in Skyrim.
Yeah, something like that.
So it gives me a lot more liberty to give uniqueness to each place you encounter in the game.
Right. Yeah,
it also was really hard to patch this stuff because it's all manual editing. Terribly long, but I'm really happy about how it went out.
Yeah, I'd say that was one of like the first things I really appreciated, besides like just the general like audio and feel of the list, was that like for instance, I went to like through like the Falkreath Riverwood like forest area, and then it was like, all right, that's pretty lush. Yeah, a lot of different tree variety. The water looks really clean, by the way. I like how it looks. Like a lot of modlists, they have like super clear, like crystal clear water, and it's not like my favorite. I kind of like how it looks more like, a river's running out like mud, rocks, plants and stuff. It's not gonna be like super clean always. So like I really liked how that looked in particular. And then like I think he used like like cathedral 3D grass, folkfanger, windy grass, like all these different like grass mods in particular. And like going to like more like the Morthal region versus like the Whiterun region is like very distinctly different, where one's like a tundra and one's more like a swampy kind of vibe. And yeah, I think it really sets the mood a lot.
Well, we use the same for the grass. It was really hard. I really had a hard time setting up the grass. I have like maybe 7 or 8 mods for just the grass that I mashed up together.
Right.
But in the end, I'm really proud of how it goes. Like, for example, to me, I think the most successful change for a region is probably the march. I really love how it went out for the march. You really get the spooky vibes of that the game was supposed to give, but I didn't fit it in the vanilla game. Right, yeah, if you go over to that area, it's kind of just like wet with the occasional spider. But but yeah, I liked what you did with it. You got like the nice obviously the fog that's like pretty traditional over there, and then it looks like, I mean, it looks creepy. Like walking around there's a little scary, not gonna lie. Exactly what I went for. Also, for those who may be wondering, it can be maybe a bit too lush for some people, but only the ultra profile is very lush like this. It has like 4,100 trees, I think, 40,000 trees. Right. So it's a lot, but the standard profile looks exactly the same. It's the same visuals, but with a more sparse environment, like a lot less trees, less grass, and which is closer to the vanilla experience. Yeah. But with the still the upgraded visuals. So yeah, for those who prefer a more sparse forest than a dense one, I think going for the standard profile would be the way to go. Perfect. That is the
This is a profile I am using while recording just to keep it, like, I wanted it to be nice and smooth. Wasn't sure how demanding the ultra was going to be, so I kept it at the standard. I figure that's what most people will probably use. And yeah, I mean, I still think it looks like amazing. All right, so question 7. Wunduniik feels like it was like built for exploration, and I'm assuming that's your intent behind, like, obviously like the name is like Traveler and Dragon's Tongue, as you mentioned. Like, why was that what you wanted to go for, the exploration in particular?
Well, to me, Skyrim was probably best game of the game of the year back in when it released for one reason. Definitely not the combats because it was terrible.
Yeah.
The visuals, even at the time, that was better. But what really made it stand out was the exploration part. The fact that it's an open world, you can explore everything, and it was really a well-built open world, like a crazy level design.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to me really like the signature point of Skyrim. So I really wanted to focus on this because to me this is the intention of the game, to be an exploration game. You travel through a lot of dungeons, through a lot of regions, and I really wanted to push this vibe to the best possible. So enhancing all the locations to be more to be unique, to like they tell a story only with how they are set up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly what I want in a game. And this is what, for example, I don't like in Oblivion. I mean, it's an old game, but for example, in Oblivion, you don't feel any uniqueness in the dungeons you clear. It's all the same dungeons. There is no clutter, no story behind it. And I find it terribly annoying. You feel like you do the same dungeon over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel this in my modlist.
I think you accomplish it really well, because I know y'all utilize like Northern Roads, for instance, which I know that is a pain in the butt to patch, but yeah, being able to like walk around and then the road's not just like the same road all through Skyrim, and it has like this, you have the camps, the ruins, the like archways and stuff. And yeah, I think that turned out really well in that regard.
Perfect then, because this was exactly the aim of the modlist, because as you said, Wunduniik means traveler in dragon language, so if I failed this, I don't know what I would do.
Right. Like, well, crap. Alright, so moving on, we've briefly touched on this already, but so what's next for Wunduniik, or your modding work in general, like after Wunduniik? I know you have the, I believe it's called Krentorin, which is like I'm assuming just like pure visuals compared to Wunduniik.
Exactly. So, modding wise, I've slowed down a bit recently. I have to focus on my real life, studies and all kind of stuff. But I plan to come back really soon. I have a lot of mod projects themselves that I'm finishing right now, that I'm working on with other people. Modlist wise, Wunduniik, I'm not. I said I'm about to. I'm not about it. I was planning to release the final version. It's not for now. I have still a lot of stuff to do for the list, so it's not gonna end soon. And as you said, there is Krentorin also, which is basically the NGVO of Wunduniik. So it's Wunduniik, but we streamed down all the gameplay mods to only keep the UI. And the visuals, so it's basically a baseline for people to mod upon with. Because I know it was requested a lot. Indeed, the Wunduniik is not really customizable because we have tons of mods, especially the gameplay. So it's hard to put your own stuff on this list.
Right.
So Krentorin is exactly this. So I plan to keep this one up to date too. And finally, as I told you already, I'm working on mod lists for other games, such as Cyberpunk,
right?
Potentially Fallout also, but it's
Fallout 4
sure right now. But Fallout 4,
right.
For now. Maybe other Fallouts if they ever release the Fallout 5.
Right.
And if the Oblivion Remastered community, modding community expands, why not doing an Oblivion Remastered mod list?
Right. Yeah, I have seen
already crazy stuff.
Yeah,
releasing right now. So
I know our favorite Arthmore already got his hands on it. I already saw the articles on him with the unofficial Oblivion Remastered patch. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll grow into being a pretty solid community. I mean, even just the original Oblivion modding community is fairly broad. Not to Skyrim's level, but it's like just under Skyrim and Fallout, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oblivion Remastered modding community will be restrained by the hybrid engine they made.
Right. The UE5 being in there,
and the UE5, which prevents us to do right now any sort of visual mods like models and stuff.
Right.
But I'm sure we'll find a way to go around this.
Yeah, someone's gonna make some, Oblivion Remastered special edition editor or some crap. You know how it is. The modders always find a way to to change the game. All right, now moving into our final question here. If someone plays one Skyrim mod list in 2025, why should it be Wunduniik?
So I'd like to say first that I don't like recommending my own stuff because I can't be objective on it.
Right.
It's hard to have the objective opinion when you do your own stuff. Where you want to promote it. But if I have to answer this, I mean, I'd say that if you're looking for really the best visual mod is possible, the best visual Skyrim. If you don't like, also, I know that a lot of people don't like Requiem, which is my case. This is a good alternative to, for example, some lists like Lower Rim, which look already crazy, but the gameplay is not for me.
Right.
I'd say it's a good alternative. And if you're mostly on exploration, you want to do screen archery also. I think you can call it also a screen archery list. Due to the visuals.
Right.
I'd say I recommend the list for those people.
Right, so you recommend it for people that want really solid visuals without that super punishing gameplay of something like Lower Rim or Halls of Sovngarde, for instance.
I wouldn't call my mod list easy by itself.
Right.
I know it can be quite hard, especially at the beginning, but it's really, as you said, not as punitive as a Requiem list.
Yeah, there's definitely it's a little more forgiving. I've had a decent bit of punishment dealt to me during Wunduniik, but overall I'd say it's a very well curated mod list. Like when I play a mod list, I want to see what was the mod list author's vision, how well did they do to bring that vision to life, and because obviously if you did this mod list and it was all right, I'm looking for that traveler vibe, exploration, and then I go in and then there's no visuals, there's no audio, there's no exploration, it's all just combat mods, I'm gonna be a little disgruntled maybe.
There are few tools to allow you to see which mods are in which mod list, and I know that Wabbajack official server also has a sort of a chart of mod lists to you have a few questions and it directs you to the mod list that fits the best your needs. Unfortunately, this is only for featured mod lists.
Right, the official ones.
My mod list is not featured yet. I think I'm going to go through this process, but it's long, it's painful. I tried already in the past, it was refused. At the time for the chapter 2, so maybe 2 years ago, and I didn't try it after that. But I think when I'm sure that mod list is extremely stable, I will try again. It would probably boost the visibility, and also it will allow people make people more confident about the list. If something is featured, it also means it's it's well curated, it's maintained, you have support, you have stuff, and it makes people more confident because sometimes people ask for help and they don't always have their answer, and I think it's a bit sad about this.
Yeah, I know there's been some like obviously like, mod lists will come and go, and like when the mod list is like featured on Wabbajack, you're a little more secure that mod list isn't just gonna disappear. Like in recent memory, you have like Rovon, for instance. He was working on that, and then he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, which is fine. But like, you know, if you were like invested in that mod list, you know, you have your character and it's just gone. It's, you know, it kind of sucks. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this video will get you some both of us, but we'll get you some push on the mod list as well. Help it get some more popularity. Hopefully Wabbajack be like, well, I mean, mod list is going crazy on YouTube, you know, gotta make them official, right? Like I said, I think it's a really well put together mod list. It's honestly like I like both. Like I like Requiem and I like non-Requiem, but I would say, in my opinion, as of right now, this is one of the more fun, enjoyable experiences I've had in recent memory with Skyrim mod lists. Like I'd put, like, in my own opinion, right, like Wunduniik and then like Gate to Sovngarde are probably my two most like non-Requiem fun lists I've had.
Well, thank you. Nice.
Of course. I mean, obviously you put a lot of work into it, and I'm excited what, you know, Chapter 6 will provide whenever that comes out. You know, Chapter 5 came out relatively recently, so no rush on that, but
no, definitely no rush.
Yeah, right. You need to go do your schoolwork and stuff, you know, be a responsible adult. Yeah, if you don't have any further questions for me, that's
Well, no, I just said that for all those who are begging for it, yeah, probably I will do an NSFW optional add-on.
Oh, okay.
It won't be featured for the list automatically. People will have to enable it themselves.
Right.
But it wasn't requested too much.
I can see that, yeah. Every time I look in there, there's some poll about it.
Yeah, Wunduniik was originally an SFW. I removed this mainly because there was videos, a lot of stream about it, and you can't allow nudity
right
on the mod list for when you're streaming it, when you're recording it.
Yep.
And also because I know that a lot of people play games in the house, and they might be children, and I don't want to like maintain this nudity on screen while there can be children behind, but
yep.
making it optional would be the best way to go. So basics will feature a lot of stuff because it's the probably last update. I won't have much more time to allow for this list with all the mods, all the mod list, and also translation I'm working on. It's taking too much time.
Right.
So anyway, I will never quit modding. I think it's a curse.
Right, a generational curse now, right, with your family.
Yeah, whatever you do, you just go back to it. But I'll continue to keep the list up to date to ensure that it's installable. I will probably slow down updates, which is also a lot requested, because I know that not everyone is happy with frequent updates, because it often means non-save save a new game. Non-save friendly. I try my best to provide save friendly updates, but it's hard because when you remove often bounds to plugins, and removing plugin in the middle of a playthrough can cause corruption, crashes, even if you clean the save. So it's really hard to make an update safe while being like a big update. Sometimes like you can do minor changes, like small bug fixes, which won't require new saves. But as soon as you want to do like medium updates, like to fix some big issues, you have to go through this process of redoing a new game, and not everyone is happy about it. So I will slow down the updates.
Right, do like
to only keep the big ones.
Yeah, less frequent, but bigger updates. Right. Yeah, I saw I mean, like, if I'm sitting there and I have purple people and there's purple spikes coming out the ground, you know, and it's a mod list that's meant for like immersion, I'd say it's a worthy update to get that fixed for you.
This kind of issue has to be fixed quite rapidly. But I think I need to kind of the between updating and giving people the time to enjoy the list.
Right. There's definitely a
Even
healthy
if,
medium.
as I always say, people are not. When I update, people are not obligated to update the list.
Mhm.
It's if they believe that their experience they're having is great, they don't face much issues, they don't feel the need to update, then they shouldn't. Honestly, they shouldn't just keep doing their playthrough.
Yep. Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite parts about the because it's not like Steam where you have to update it every time you open the game. Like I have like 4 terabytes worth of mod lists installed on one of my drive just because I make content on it. I need them like readily available. So yeah, not having to update those 24/7, it feels like great just for like space in general because you can delete the downloads folder. But if you need to update, you probably should keep that. Makes it a little quicker.
I agree that you should do this. I think that many people forget. Yeah, but you have the choice to update. It's not always an obligation. So just do it whenever you want and if you want.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for taking your time out of your night to come and talk the mod list with me. Very happy
for this kind of interview thing. It's interesting the question you ask, and I think many people can find this interesting to have the author's vision and to have like the behind the scene experience thing.
Yeah, there's at least for me, there's like it's really nice to be able to like see what they wanted to create from their own mouth. Like I could always like just say whatever I want about it. Like I could be like, well, Wunduniik was it's meant for visuals, right? Like obviously, but hearing it come from like the creator's mouth, it's a lot different. It's like watching like devlogs for like actual games, like big games. You'll see them like with the behind the scenes stuff. It just adds a little humanity to it. I think it's also just interesting content. I tried to keep my questions, mentally stimulating, make you work a little bit for them.
I mean, this is what's mostly interesting. Your questions. It's a dig on the what the list is, what is meant to be, who is it, who it's for, and I think it's a good question. Yeah, mostly for people like who discover Skyrim and end up finding out that there are like hundreds of mod lists. It's really hard to choose which one is made for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the like whether it landed properly or not. It's kind of what the idea behind such like a tier list video was. It was meant more to like show off like these are the 16 best mod lists for Skyrim that you could just like jump into and they'll be like good experiences for you. Definitely could have worded that a little better, but yeah, my whole community is pretty much like not necessarily new modders, but like people in the community that might not know about certain mod lists and stuff. That's why I like featuring like and going forward I'll do this a lot more, featuring those like sort of lesser known mod lists, like for instance like a newer one like Mages and Vikings. That one's coming up on my list,
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And then like Origins of Frost. There's a couple like newer ones in the space as more people get into modding. And I also think that doing this like behind the scenes sort of thing with a mod list author kind of gets like, it could get like more people like excited to be like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do my own mod list, which is obviously healthy for the community in general.
Yeah, I made my own mod list, but honestly, if I were to recommend people to choose between making a mod list and installing Wabbajack mod list, you should really try at making your own mod list.
Right.
This is the best way to have the ultimate experience for that suits your needs. I know it can be hard, so yeah, expect it to take a lot of time, a lot of issues, a lot of knowledge, but in the end, it's also a part of the joy you have when making it. Honestly, I enjoy today modding my own list than playing it.
Right.
Like modding to me became sort of the game.
Yeah, which I think that's kind of like they say to like fall in love with the process, and I guess that's kind of what that's touching on, right? Like, don't worry about the end results as much, right? Like you should. I mean, obviously you want good results, but you should love what you're doing, and then I feel like that helps you be better at it. Which like it shows in the mod list, obviously. Like it's phenomenal list, and like I mean, you jumped right on that issue with the recent one with the purple stuff, and boom, fixed after you figured out whatever the hell was causing that. The 2 plugins, but like. Yeah, I think the support in your Discord in particular is like very strong compared to some other ones that I won't name, just for I don't need more drama. But Yeah, I think y'all do a really good job of like your community feels very like welcoming. And that's obviously a positive experience.
I mean, this is exactly what the Discord is for. It's just for people to have updates on the to know about the update on the list and to ask for help, ask questions, share their experience. So it's a community server. So we're here to help answer the question and hear about the stories. So, and this is what I like about it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Love to see people like enjoying your list, right? All your hard labor gets posted in there, and they're like, "Dude, the list is awesome." And you're like, "Oh fuck yeah! Well, I'm glad. I spent like 400 hours on this bitch in the last 2 weeks."
It's very heartwarming. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts to say before we close out?
I don't know. I'd say. Yeah, people. A big shout out to It's Evie. It's another mod list author who helped me a lot with the recent issues we had on the mod list. He's also he made recently mod list called Skyrim. You probably heard of it. And if not, I would recommend to check it out. It's also a visual and gameplay mod list. It does a bit of everything and it does it really well. Really stable stuff, really it's solid stuff. So I'd recommend checking out this guy's stuff.
Awesome. I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, I think that's basically it.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. Definitely interesting.
Of course.
And I hope people will find it interesting too.
I'm sure they will. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your. I believe it's night. We're pushing 10 o'clock over there.
Exactly. It's 10 o'clock.
All right, well, you got studies to go do and Delta Force to go play. All right, I'll catch you later. You've walked through his world. Now you've heard his voice. Alaxouche didn't just rebuild Skyrim. He gave it back that feeling we thought was lost. The thrill of the unknown, the joy of discovery, the sense that something incredible might be waiting around the next corner. Most creators stay behind the curtain, but today we stepped through it. And for once, we saw the mind behind the mod list. If you enjoyed this conversation, let me know below. There are more stories like this out there, hidden behind loading screens, patch notes, and Nexus pages, and I'd love to help bring more of them to light.